My name's Adrian Blake. 7 days after my boss fired me, I signed a $25 million deal. I walked home rehearsing the surprise for my wife, Melissa. When I opened the bedroom door, she was kissing the same boss who'd fired me, Charles Mercer, on our bed. The contract slipped from my hands. Pages worth more than everything I owned fluttered across the floor like confetti for the worst party ever. Melissa didn't gasp. She didn't apologize. She looked annoyed. Charles smirked the way men do when they think they've already won. "You should have seen this coming," he said. I left without breaking anything, but something in me cracked clean through. The Greens decide it's a situation. The next morning, I was summoned to Melissa's parents' mansion, Harold and Patricia Green, Denver royalty with a front door that weighs as much as my car. In their leather and bourbon library, they tried to frame the affair as a situation. Patricia said Melissa deserved better. Harold called me boy. I told them about the contract I'd just signed with Metasphere Corp. and its billionaire CEO, Julian Cross. They blinked, recalculating. Then Melissa swept in with Charles behind her, his hand on her back like he owned the deed. "You all deserve each other," I said, and walked out. That night I moved into a crummy rental with peeling paint, cheap blinds, and silence loud enough to swallow a man. Enter Sophia and a plan. 2 days of takeout and self-pity. Later, my college friend, and now forensic business analyst, Sophia Daniels showed up with coffee and a plan. "Stop acting like a victim," she said. "They underestimated you. That's their first mistake." She called a shark of an attorney, Victor Hale. We met the next morning. I brought backups and receipts. Sophia brought a laptop and blood in the water. What she'd already found made my stomach drop. Charles had been funneling company money into a shell called Green Innovations LLC. Primary shareholder, Melissa, their product, suspiciously like my logistics AI. Sophia pulled up emails. Charles to Melissa. "Adrian's close to finishing. Accelerate the patent filing." Melissa back. "Once we have the tech and he's out, no complications." We had timestamps showing I'd built the AI at home on my gear for years. Hale called it what it was: fraud, conspiracy, embezzlement, theft of IP. "We're not going to win," he said. "We're going to obliterate them. The party they threw to humiliate me." 3 days later, a cream invitation arrived, engagement party. Melissa and Charles. Cocktail attire, the Greens' mansion. It was meant to be my public execution. I wore my best cheap suit and fake confidence. Inside, Denver's elite did what they do, laughed quietly and studied loudly. Melissa sparkled in emerald and diamonds. Charles wore that tux that whispers, "I bill by the hour for breathing." They spotted me and Melissa tapped her glass. "Sometimes life gives you what you really deserve," she purred, eyes on me. To Charles, my real partner. Polite laughter. Then Charles to the room, to leaving behind people who couldn't keep up. I was deciding whether to walk out or explode when the air pressure changed. The room went silent. Julian Cross? Yes, that Julian Cross stepped to my side like a cavalry charge in a tailored suit. "Adrian," he said warmly, shaking my hand for all to see. "We have much to celebrate." Harold Green elbowed through the crowd, sweating panic. "Mr. Cross, an honor, if we'd known—" Julian didn't blink. "Would you have treated your son-in-law with more respect?" He let the line land, then spoke to the room as if chairing a board meeting. "Adrian isn't just a guest. He's my partner. The $25 million contract we signed last week? That's just the start. His AI is poised to generate billions." The crowd turned. Phones came out. Charles turned the color of bad milk. Charles stammered something about licensing through Harrison Tech. Julian's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Adrian owns the technology outright. Any licensing goes through him. And Metasphere doesn't partner with companies under federal investigation. The party didn't so much end as deflate. Julian and I left through a corridor of whispers. Behind us, I heard glass break. Service with a side of karma. Victor timed the lawsuit filings for maximum humiliation. Service at the Ritz-Carlton during Melissa's intimate engagement brunch. Our process server reported that Patricia screamed loud enough to rattle the lobby chandelier. Melissa threw a mimosa and hit her father. Charles went white and started hyperventilating. That same day, Melissa unloaded on Instagram rage, tears, and one very slurred story from their wine cellar calling me a loser who couldn't accept her upgrade. Sophia screenshotted everything. "Thanks for the defamation, babe," she said and filed it under Exhibit A. Harrison Tech called Metasphere begging for a deal. Julian laughed and blacklisted them. Harold called me, suddenly civilized. I hung up at, "This will ruin Melissa's reputation." Charles finally phoned to bluff a settlement. I listed the evidence: bank records, email chains, falsified expenses, stolen IP, witness list. He was silent long enough that I checked if the call had dropped. "It's not over," he said. "You're right," I told him. "It's just getting started. Court isn't TV. It's better." 6 weeks later, we were in Judge Eleanor Graves's courtroom. Packed press, curious public, the whole city hungry for a reckoning. Victor opened like a surgeon. Calm, precise, lethal. He showed the jury my Metasphere contract. He showed the paper trail, company funds diverted to green innovations, travel conferences that were actually romantic getaways, emails about patent timelines written months before the affair began. He showed my timestamps and code history. Then he called Julian, who testified to the value and to Charles's 17 frantic calls after our deal. Melissa took the stand in white, coached to look small and sorry. Victor started soft. She settled into her script. Then he handed her a printout. "Please read the highlighted sentence to the jury." Her eyes darted. Her voice shrank. "Adrian's AI project is progressing faster than expected. We need to accelerate the patent filing." "Dated 6 months before your claimed affair?" Victor said. "Explain." She broke. "You don't understand!" she exploded, standing. "Adrian was nothing. Charles offered me a real future. I deserve better than some loser in a cubicle." The courtroom froze. The jury didn't move. Even the court reporter paused. "You will sit down," Judge Graves said, voice like ice. Melissa sat. They played an audio recording Sophia had, found Melissa and Charles in a cafe, laughing about crushing me and how I'd never bounce back. You could feel the jurors' faces harden. Deliberations took 47 minutes. Verdict: guilty on all counts. For me, a complete win. Judge Graves sentenced Charles to 5 years in federal prison, plus restitution to Harrison Tech and punitive damages to me. Melissa got 2 years, plus $500,000 in damages. Both were barred from any role involving proprietary tech. Harold and Patricia were ordered to pay civil damages for enabling and facilitating. When the marshals cuffed them, Charles kept looking back, like he could rewind the last 6 months by willpower. Melissa's mascara ran in black tracks. The diamond necklace was gone. So was the arrogance. On the courthouse steps, cameras flashed. "How does it feel?" someone yelled. "Like justice," I said. "Former wife, by the way. Divorce filed this morning. I'm going to do what I've always done. Build." The phoenix rises. 6 months later, my life smelled like fresh paint and good coffee. The downtown loft housed Blake Innovations, me as CEO, Sophia as CTO, Victor as counsel, Julian as advisor. Our AI rollout in healthcare supply chains was humming. But the thing I was proudest of was born from the ashes. The Phoenix Initiative. A. Fund for innovators betrayed by the people closest to them. We started with $10 million, stories poured in. A software engineer whose brother patented his app. a researcher whose lab partner published her work under his name, an engineer whose father-in-law cut him out of his own design. Same story, different. Faces, trust weaponized. We held the launch at the Denver Art Museum. 500 people, reporters, investors, survivors. Betrayal isn't your flaw, I told the room. It's the moment before your rise. We're not here to help you get over it. We're here to help you win. Applause rolled like thunder. TechCrunch broke news mid-event. A $50 million Series A for Blake Innovations and national expansion for Phoenix. Julian found me by the bar. You turned bitter into better, he said, toasting. A young woman approached, hands shaking. I'm Jennifer. My ex-partner stole my algorithm and clients, then blacklisted me in Austin. Send everything, I said. Patents, emails, filings. We'll review within 48 hours. She blinked. You'd do that? For a stranger? You're not a stranger, I told her. You're me. 6 months ago. Late that night, I stood alone in the gallery as crews folded chairs. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. Saw the coverage. Congrats on your success. Charles. Delete. Some bridges don't get rebuilt. They stand as charred reminders of why you never go back. I looked out at Denver's lights. Somewhere, Melissa counted days and choices. But I wasn't thinking about them anymore. I was thinking about the inbox full of Jennifers, about second chances engineered, not granted. I caught my reflection in the window. Same face, different man, harder, kinder, impossible to erase. I am Adrian Blake. I was betrayed. I chose the fire. I built the rise. And tomorrow, we help someone else do the same.